All right, welcome back, everybody. So, this is where we stopped in our last lesson. So, this is going to be our practice on files. So, this is a little bit longer problem, so it might take some time, but it's an overall good overall problem. So basically, it's saying given this file, there's some student data inside, and and then basically on some quiz marks, and I need to basically create this list of students. Okay, so first I have to do it with for loops, and then I need to convert um, my solution into a list comprehension. Okay, so as usually I copied down to my PyCharm. So I copied the problem to my PyCharm. So let's go there. Okay, so let me first open this file. So I'm going to go over here to the location I have it. I already shared with you the file. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over here. It should be here. Class code. And we scroll down. All right. Think. Okay. Right here. Okay. Let me just open it. All right. Yeah, so this is the file. So we have a student name and some marks for some quizzes. And in an interview setting, if you are given something, a text file like this one, just feel free to open it in your text editor, um, plain text editor. Okay. So just to get an idea what's given to you. So, right. So that's what I'm doing right now. So, and if you notice, this number of quizzes is varied with student to student. So that's one thing to understand. But each student is each line has one student. Okay, so we have five such students. So what we need to do is basically get the average of this quizzes and create a list for the students self, and then put them in a big list. Okay, all right. So and notice this file is located here. So I'm going to basically copy this location because it's not sitting where I am running PyCharm right now, Python right now. So I need to basically take this path. Okay. So I'm going to store it somewhere here. Let's say I'll need it later on. Okay. So, all right. So, all right. So let's now we basically understood the content of the file. I'm gonna just take 2 lines of it and just to analyze in my understand process. Okay, so first, what are given input? Well, the file, right? This file. So I'm going to go over here and write this down. All right. So input, this file is given to us. Okay, that's the file. All right, and output. Okay, we need to get this. Okay, so let's say, okay, so something like similar to this. All right, something similar to that. Okay, so all right, and basically this is going to be the average quiz marks and the name. Okay, and any restrictions? No. Well, then later on you are asked to solve it using this comprehension. Okay, so first, we need to open this file. Okay, so basically, well, open the file. So once you open, then you can basically read it. Okay, so since these are, if we take these 2 lines, you can see that basically we can read each of these line line at a time. Okay, so because one line belongs to one student. Okay, so all right. So then basically, if we analyze one of this line, remember we need to to calculate the average. We need to sum of these. Okay, and then divide by how many do we have, and then that number varies. Okay, so in this case 5, in this case 4. Okay, so basically we need to get this string. Okay, so open this file, read one line. Okay, so I can write over here. So need to read the file a line at a time. Okay, so you have to read the file a line at a time, and then once you have a line, so it's a string. So how do we get each of these component? We need to use string slicing. Okay, no, sorry, string slicing, splitting. Sorry. Okay, so we need to split based on the space. Okay, so so to get the each of these values, we need the name and we need these numbers. Okay, so so we basically write them down. Okay, so need to split each line into words. Basically, these are words separated by space, right? Okay. All right. So once we do that, and then these numbers, they're still strings, so we need to convert them to string as well. Okay. So we can extract the name. Okay. So then extract the name and numbers. Okay. Okay. So now we kind of have an idea what we need to do. So basically, once we extract these numbers, we can get the sum simply by using the sum method. So we have a built-in method called sum, which take a sequence of numbers and then well, I think it's a list of numbers, list of iterables. Um, it, any iterable with numbers. Okay, so then basically we can pass that to sum method and it will give us the total, and we can divide it by this length to get the average. Okay, so match is basically will basically this is about strings, right? String slicing, strings splitting, okay, and integer conversion. Okay, all right, so okay, so let's write our plan. So this match. All right, plan basically input. Okay, so it's a file. Okay, and then that's the step 1. Okay, so what do we have to do the next step? Okay, so we need to basically initialize a list, which is the output, right? So okay, so init. Okay, so let's say student data or something. Okay, so that's the list. Okay, and then step number 3. Now we need to basically open this file, right? So open the file. Okay, and then 4th step, we need to read line at a time. Okay, so read, so 4 lines in file. Okay, so we're gonna use a for loop, and then file we can use as a sequence, in this case sequence of lines. So we're gonna read each line at a time. Okay, so now that's the outer for loop. So inside, so 4.1, okay, once we get this one of the line, okay, now we have more things to do, right? So basically we need to split this line, right? So split the line. Okay, you split the line, and what we get? We get a list of um, words inside, right? So 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 that's a list basically. Okay, so um, into a list, let's say, right? Into say, yep, a list, fine. Okay, so a list. Okay, so now basically we are now inside this. So it's basically inside this for loop. We have to now iterate this list. Okay, so okay, so well, let's say yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm was wondering together to find a more specific name. All right, so over here now basically we need another for loop. Okay, so now we have this list. Okay, so before we start our next for loop 4.2, well, now we can, right, now we can get the name. Okay, because this, so this one of this line is going to be, okay, like this. Once we extract and split, it's going to be like this. Okay, so let's say Joe. Okay, so this will be like this once we split, but these are still going to be all these are not numbers, they're actually strings like these. Okay, so I'm not gonna write all of them. Okay, so this will be like that. Okay, all right, so likewise, so basically we need to go over each of these and then convert them back to a number, and in here we can grab the um, first name. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I have uh, this file, so this list, big list over there initialized. Okay, so I am going to create, let's say, a student list. Okay, st a list. Okay, and basically I'm gonna basically insert that first item, which is the name, into that list. Okay, so all right, so basically I'm going to initialize that list like this. Okay, so a list, this is going to be the name. Okay, 0. Okay, all right, so and the next guy going to be next item going to be the average marks. Okay, so now we need to basically iterate the rest of that list, this list. Okay, which is going to be this set of numbers. Okay, so we're gonna basically for um, numbers, let's say str nums in a list. Oh, it's a slice, right? It's a slice from where? From 1 to the rest. Okay, so I got all the numbers, and then we basically need to convert them. So now this is 4.3. So this is going to be 4.3.1. Okay. Okay. So we are going to convert them and sum them up basically. Okay, so what I am going to do is basically um, yep. So basically I need to add them up. Okay, so let's say um, get the sum. Okay, so yeah, so I need to initialize that sum. Okay, oops. All right, it's 4.3. It's going to be 4. Okay, and it's going to be 4 as well. So sum equals 0, and then you need to sum up. Okay, so you need to sum up. So sum plus equals. Okay, now we need to basically convert each of these into an integer and then sum up, right? So int strnums. Okay, so we have the sum at the end of this for loop. Okay, so at the end of this for loop we have the sum, and then we can basically uh, divide by the length of this, and that gives us the average. Okay, so basically at the end of this for loop, okay, I have the sum, so 4.5. Okay, basically going to be inserting, so this going to be, so we're going to insert this one to I can simply append. Okay, so oops, all right, so append, so append sum divided by the length, right? Okay, length of this. Okay, that many we have. Okay, okay, to ST-list. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so every time we read a line from the file, we do all this. Okay, all right. So let's so at the end basically we return step 5. We return this list. Okay, so student data list. Okay, I think we need to yeah, so we need to add, yeah, so we need to at the end basically we need to add this list, st list to student data list. Okay, so just okay, so 4.6 append, okay, st list to student data. Okay, that's the big list that we are creating. Okay, all right, so return student data list. All right, it's a little bit complicated. Okay, so I'm telling you, so once you get this video, just scan over a few times on what I'm doing with this question. Okay, so let's write this function. Okay, so def, so let's say get average, or get, yeah, get average. That should be enough. Okay, and given the file, so say st data st file, something like that, st data file. Okay, so return student average marks, something like that. Okay, okay, AGE. All right, All right. So so we need this file. Okay. So we pass this file. So we have to open it with open. Okay. That's what our first step in the second step, third step in the file, right? So, well, yeah, we can, yeah, we need to initialize our student data list. Okay. So, all right. So this one equals empty list, open st data file. Okay. So we are going to read the file. So r, okay, as stf object. Okay. All right. So, and then now we need to open this file line at a time, right? It's 4. Okay. So lines in this one. Okay. Okay. So what do we have to do now? So we get a line. Okay. So we need to basically, let's follow the algorithm, split the line into a list, right? So a list, and you can be more specific. Okay. Then basically you have to use the split method. Okay. So okay. So a line, sorry, lines split. Okay. It's a default delimiter, which is going to be space. Okay. So once, so that gives us a list, right? So and then basically we need to create this list. Okay. It's kind of like temporary one, and now we have this. We got the name into that. Okay. And we have the rest. So we're going to iterate the rest for. Okay. So for say words in, okay, the rest. Okay. So we don't need to get, so we basically need to access the numbers. Okay. So that means it's a slice from one to the rest. Okay. And we basically we need to get the, you need to convert them into integers, right? So and then sum up. Okay. So basically this step, sum plus equals this. We need to initialize the sum as well before the for loop. Okay. And then over here, you can directly copy. Okay. Okay. So well, this should be words. Okay. So yep. Okay. So sum equal. All right. Excuse me. And at the end of the for loop, okay, at the end we append that to right here. Okay. So okay. So that's going to be this list. Dot append. Okay. Sum divided by the length of this. Okay. We're calculating average. Okay. So right. So and then at the end, so we appended that, and then basically we need to append that list into student data. Okay. So basically you can actually, I mean, you'll see that we will not need this. Okay. We can directly do it like here. So we have the student data. Okay. So we have student data dot append. Okay, we can basically grab this and grab this and append it. So right now I have it as a list, right? So I can directly do that. So I'm appending this. Okay, let's do it. I mean, we are saying one variable. Okay, and this. Okay, right. So we don't need this. Okay, and we don't need that as well. Right. Okay. So I'm directly appending to the main list. Okay. So that's it. So at the end of that for loop, outer one, you can simply return. You can even return within with, which is fine as well. Okay. Or we can come out from that and return as well. Okay. So run data. That's it. Okay. So return the value. So let's see if we can get the same process. So I'm going to run this. Okay. So I'm going to go down all the way. Okay. And print, and let's say student data averages, something like that. And I'm going to call the function. Okay. And here, student data file is going to be the path to that file, which is I already saved over here somewhere on the top. Okay. So I'm going to get that. Okay. So file names are strings, string path. Okay. And PyCharm might show you the other one, the name. No, it's not showing me, which is fine. So I'm going to get this one. Okay. The name of the file. All right. So that's it. So we're going to pass that and run it. Okay. So let's run this one. Okay. All right. Okay. So there's something errors going on. So let's see. File not found, QB data. So let's see. I need to, yeah. So let's, this one. Well, okay. So line 6. Oh, that's the wrong file actually. Okay. So I ran the wrong one. So let me run this one. Okay. All right. All right. It's done. Okay. So here's the result. Okay. So let's see if that's what we are after. Okay. I think that is the same result that we are after. So go all the way to the top, and Joe is 22, Bill is 20. So we have that. Okay. All right. So now the biggest question is, how do we convert this to a list comprehension, which is, you will see that bit complicated. Okay. So the thing is, we have two for loops. So our comprehension going to have two nested for loops. Okay. So we haven't particularly gone over that yet, but remember that. Okay. If there's any place that you are creating a list, you can apply comprehension. And more often, that comprehension going to be more efficient compared to plain for loops. It's the way it's as designed, but not always. Okay, depending on your action. Basically, um, for example, if you are having to repeat a lot of like operations inside your comprehension, gonna be inefficient, but usually it is efficient compared to plain for loops. Okay, so how do we convert these to a list comprehension? Okay, so I'm going to, so algorithm is the same. Okay, in our list comprehension we're going to have two for loops, that's all. Okay, so I'm going to write the function. Okay, same I'm going to write it right over here. So average, say 2. Okay. So it's a comprehension. Okay. So that's my outer list that I'm going to return. So this guy. Okay. So return. Okay. So now inside. Okay. So this is where all this thing need to go. Okay. It's a bit complicated, right? So one thing I can write is that it's going to be another list. We need to, okay, so we need to first do this line. So that's the outer for loop, right? So that's my outer comprehension. So for, okay, so lines in, all right, so this file object, okay, so for that, basically we need to first open this file. So let me just put it in there, okay, so, okay, so inside the width, all right, okay, so this object, okay, all right, so now I have a line, okay, once I have the line, okay, and basically lines, the first element come from like this, right? So I need to, I have a line and I need to split it. So yeah, so lines, sorry, this should be lines dot split, okay, and right, so this is going to give us a list of words inside. So I'm gonna grab the first element, that is the name, okay, so I got that, okay, and comma, okay, so I'm creating this in the list of lists in a list of lists, okay, it's right here. We have the little bit complicated scenario, okay, so for that again, so we have this, okay, so okay, we have this and we're gonna get that, and this should be one to the rest, right? So okay, and what we have to do over here, so we have to basically write our next comprehension, right? So this is my list. So inside here, okay, so for, okay, for let's say parts or str numbers, right, in, okay, this one, okay, so in here, so what I need to do, I need to get this, oops, okay, and basically I need to put that, convert it to an int, right? So int, okay, so this thing, the whole thing's going to be a list, right? So, and this is going to be a list, okay, so that's the inner comprehension, okay, so once I have that list, so this is basically, now see that it's a number, so I converted it to an int, right? Each number, a string number. So now this is like set of list of numbers. So I need to sum this up. So for that, I'm going to use the sum method. Okay. So that's the built-in method to get the sum and divide it by the length of this guy. Okay. So basically, okay. So len. All right. So let's see, there's a mistake somewhere. Line split, that is causing, yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. So that was the mistake. There was the extra bracket. Okay. So now, so let's try to make sense kind of a little bit longer. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay. So let's try to read. So this is the biggest list. Okay. that is that in that comprehension we get each line from the file. Okay, so basically that's what we do in there. Okay, and then once we get that line, we're gonna have our inner comprehension, which is basically another list. Okay, so that is that list. Okay, first element really easy, the first one when we split the line, which is the name. Okay, so next one basically we need to take the rest, which is this of the thing in the splitted uh, line. So that's the list. We're gonna iterate that and get the each of the number string version and convert it to an integer and put them in that list. That's the second comprehension. Okay, and once we have that second list, we sum up and divide by the length of that, and that's the average. Okay, and that goes in as the second element of that list. Okay, so basically from let me just give a new line over here. Okay, so okay, so from here to here, so this is the whole expression of my outer comprehension. Okay, see that this is the whole expression. It's a little bit complicated expression. Inside that expression, we have another list comprehension, which is the inner one. Okay. All right. So that's it. Okay. So we return that. So let's try this one out too. I'll go to the same line. Okay. So and print. Okay. And same part. Yeah. So let's run it again. Okay. Got the same result. Okay. So now I want to tell you that this comprehension is not that efficient. That's my belief. Okay. So notice um, uh, here, okay, I only split just one time. Okay. But I'm splitting, how many times am I splitting over here? Right here, and right here, and right here. So every time when you split, there's a cost to that. Okay, so um, cannot prove, and just I'm speculating that this comprehension it's basically relatively less efficient compared to this plain for loop one. Okay, but we can verify. There's a module to figure out the time module. You can figure out the time it takes, calculate the time it takes to calculate run piece of code in between. It's basically CPU time, and you can compare that actually. Okay. All right, guys, there you have it. So this is the practice problem for both acting with these comprehensions, loop iterations, and especially files. Okay. So once you open this file, well, basically the rest of the Python we learned in play. Okay. All right.